Oh boy, isn't this exciting? Alright Disney, please don't copyright me. Anyway, we've got the water type today as we return to our series looking at the top 10 Pokemon of a type without legendaries. The last video saw us tackle the grass types, and the one before that was of course fire. So today only makes sense. As we all know, the water typing is the biggest in the franchise, so we've got a lot to cover. There are Pokemon of all sorts of abilities under this umbrella, from heavy hitters to complete supports to one of the best walls ever. There will be no shortage of things to talk about when we hop into the deep end. Probably a bit of controversy too. So let's not waste any more time. Onward and downward, we're looking for Davy Jones' locker, folks. The list kicks off today with the bivalve Pokemon Cloister. It's known for two fantastic things that it is capable of doing: rapid spinning and shell smashing. Whether you're playing in the OU tier of Sword and Shield or BDSP, you can rely on Cloister to hold its own on the battlefield. It's a fantastic short-term counter to Garchomp for one, and you should always want a Pokemon that can handle the Chomp. Its skill link ability leaves it able to use moves like Icicle Spear and Rock Blast to their full abilities. And when you've already boosted your physical attack, well, oh boy, are you going to tear the battlefield up. Did I mention it could set up spikes as well? That's another one of its big competitive usages. What you ultimately choose to do with Cloister is up to you. It can just be a rapid spinner / hazard setter, but it also is very capable of being a destructive attacker on the field. I'm a big fan of what it can do, and it sets a really high bar for the rest of the list by coming in at number 10. Next up, we'll head to Unova and talk about the vibration Pokemon Seismitoad. It's a fantastic option for the rain on many teams in Sword and Shield, putting that Swift Swim ability to use. Its speed gets a big boost, and with 95 base attack, it's really not too bad as an attacker if used right. I would usually not be a huge fan of Seismitoad's base 75 defenses, but its typing, only being weak to grass, actually does speak well to its defensive abilities. You could even do some really weird stuff and run Water Absorb instead of Swift Swim if you really wanted to lean into some defensive stuff. But I think this Toad is a lot better as an offensive threat with great speed. Plus, while I pull over its physical prowess, specially, it's not bad either. You could easily run an Earth Power / Scald set if you really wanted to, and that also takes being burned out of the equation. All in all, Seismitoad can be a great wall breaker for you on a rain team. It's yet another great Pokemon on this list today, which excites me big time, because things are only going to get better as we move on. We move on next to Kendra, which we last spoke about on the Dragon type list, which was also during the 8th spot. Go figure. You guys already know what really makes Kendra a beast in battle, but I'll go over it anyway. It is, once again, that Swift Swim ability. Its speed is doubled to a potentially massive amount, which allows it to outspeed a majority of Pokemon in normal battle. So it succeeds majorly on a rain team. If you don't find yourself in a position to make use of Drizzle though, its Sniper ability is a pretty great one too. It ups the power of critical hit moves. So if you can get one off with certain moves, they'll be hitting real hard. It's got Draco Meteor, Hydro Pump, Hurricane, and Ice Beam in its pull if you want to focus on making it a special attacker. And of course, if you want to go physical, you can go Liquidation, Outrage, and Iron Head on top of setting up with Dragon Dance. Plus, thanks to the Isle of Armor tutor moves, you can even run Flip Turn on this thing, which makes it even better of an option. So Kendra is lucky enough to be one of the best Pokemon in both of its typings. It's a Johto OG, so that definitely makes me happy, especially considering it's in my top 5 favorite Pokemon of all time. Speaking of Johto OGs, the next entry on the list is Corsola. Just kidding, it's for Alligator. It was Game Freak's follow-up to a great water starter in Blastoise. And in the modern-day franchise, it has gone on to become potentially the best water-type starter in general. It is only a part of the BDSP competitive scene due to Sword and Shield's Pokedex. But that shouldn't be held against it. It relies heavily on setup, either running Dragon Dance or Swords Dance with Waterfall, Ice Punch, and another move to provide power and coverage. The only things that have a real chance of handling for Alligator easily are some of the more powerful Grass-type Pokemon. Tangrowth and a powerhouse like Shaman can end up standing in for Alligator's way rather easily. But even then, those are actually so few Pokemon, so it's not really super worth worrying about. Plus, I mean, a Life Orb on this thing with sheer force? Sheesh. For Alligator and its big jaw, easily take a position in the pantheon of non-legendary water types. Wow. Closing out the first half of our list today is actually going to be yet another Johto Pokemon. My favorite region is really dominating right now, and I'm here for it. It is absolutely one of the most dominant water types in BDSP's competitive scene and in Sword and Shield. It can bring the fight too as a great wall breaker. The only thing I can really hold against the Zumerel is its poor speed, which can hold it back unless you're running some sort of belly drum set with Aqua Jet. Think about that with huge power and a Citrus Berry. It's a fantastic way of setting up your Zumerel to really dominate. It's just as viable to slap a Choice Band and run it with Liquidation, Ice Punch, and Play Rough and whatnot, but the belly drum sets on this thing are just so iconic. Zumerel is just a really great water type, and it missed out on the top 5 due to the next few just being so good in a lot of different ways. Perhaps the 9th gen will offer even more great moves and concepts for Zumerel to take advantage of, but only time will tell. The top 5 opens up with the best rain setter in the entire meta, the great Pelipper. While Drizzle might be banned at this point in BDSP OU, it's still all about the rain in Sword and Shield. And when you pair being a rain starter along the usage of Defog, then it becomes very clear why Pelipper is such a dominant force on all rain teams. It almost feels like Pelipper was made with the idea in mind. You run Drizzle and Defog for big support, and then offensive moves in Scald and Hurricane are super strong, which allow Pelipper to defend itself. It's honestly a very basic explanation for why Pelipper opens the top 5. It's the driving force behind many rain teams succeeding. I don't think I have to go on here. Let's move on to some Pokemon that aren't as self-explanatory. Once again, we've got Slobro coming in at number 4 on a list. It's a nice water psychic type that managed to find its way onto the list over Starmie. So take that, Starfish fans. So in Sword and Shield, Slobro is a top tier option out in OU. When you run a Trick Room team, you can get a lot out of Slobro. But if not, Teleport plus Regenerator is fantastic. Like, you'll be able to get out whatever you want under any circumstances, and in the process, heal Slobro. It's pretty freaking awesome. It can run Future Sight as well, which plays super well with those moves, making pivoting all the more attractive when you know you can still wreak some havoc on the field, all while it's back in your party healing. It's able to do a little damage as well, with its base 100 special attack in a more traditional sense, using moves ranging from Psychic to Scald to Ice Beam. Though I'd highly suggest using Slobro as a pivoting, future sighting defensive mon that can really annoy the opposing Pokemon. Just slide the heavy duty boots on and watch this slow boy work its magic. The Pokemon which will open our top 3 today is the washing machine form of Rotom. Its amazing ability to pivot around the field in tandem with being the best water type in BDSP OU just makes it an easy choice here. Its only weakness is to grass types. and you've got so many Pokemon you can surround Rotom with that can handle the grass types. It's actually kind of awesome just how versatile and fantastic this thing is. If you partner it with Pokemon like Weavile and Heatran, then basically nothing is going to stop this washing machine. Volt Switch, Hydro Pump, and Will-O-Wisp, and it's pretty much a wrap. It's got 107 in both defenses, so it can take hits, and that excuses its less than stellar speed. If you build Rotom Wash to be a main part of your team's core and allow other team members to support it and flow around, you're going to be very successful. So, what's our penultimate Pokemon? Well, that would be Toxipex, one of the best walls in the entire franchise. It's unfortunate for the Brutal Star that the #1 spot today is taken by something so broken. But regardless of that, coming in second is nothing to be ashamed of. Its insane water poison typing is actually great defensively, even with the ground and psychic weaknesses. The base 142 special defense and 152 defense enable it to take any hit realistically. It's got access to Regenerator for an ability, and of course Recover as a move. So HP flows through this thing constantly. I mean, it's an amazing wall with what it has, and its typing and ability and whatnot, they almost banned it from OU altogether. The toxic spikes it'll set up, and the potential to burn with Scald cannot be understated. Toxipex is so damn good, but it's not the best. You guys can probably guess what it is, and you'll see it in just a moment. We arrive here at #1, and I'm super hyped to say that Dracovish is getting its moment atop the mountain. After coming in at #3 on the Dragon list, it is, without a doubt, the top non-legendary water type in the franchise at the present moment. Dracovish is an absolute warlord out in battle, with a tremendous combo of Vicious Rend and Strongjaw, playing well with a well-developed speed stat or just the Choice Scarf. Why, if put in a position where Dracovish can just get something out of Sand Rush, running a band with Vicious Rend is just as good of a play out in battle. You get Stab, plus a boost from going first, plus the attack stat boost from the ban. I gotta say, Vicious Rend is downright one of the most broken moves we have ever seen in this franchise. That is seriously all you need to talk about with Dracovish. That move and the few options I gave for using it are what put it here. It's got the pleasure of being both the best water type and one of the best dragon types. And it also stopped a streak of Galarian starters dominating the #1 spot. It's good to be a fossil today, folks. And with that, we've got the largest typing done and down the drain. That's it, another list is done and over with, and we've gone and gotten the 3 starter typings handled. I loved this one. While it was a little shorter in explanations than usual, I think that's because these water type Pokemon didn't need a lot of explaining. It was plenty of showing, not telling, and I appreciate that about this type. It's proof that it's just so useful and competitive, and that's exactly what you'd expect from the largest typing in the franchise. So that's it for now. Let me know what you thought, and let me know what typing you'd like to see covered next. I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to say. Welcome back to the outro, folks, your favorite part of the video. Thank you for enjoying another Mystic Umbreon video. We made it through the end of the 8th generation, and now we begin the long trek into late 2022 where Pokemon Scarlet and Violet await us. It's a whole new world we'll live in, but we still gotta catch them all. However, there's still a ton of videos to do and experiences to have until then. If you're interested in more Mystic content, check out my TikTok and the Mystic Umbreon Shorts YouTube channel. If we get the 10K followers on TikTok, I'll be doing a viewer's choice video. If you like Genshin Impact, check out my Genshin channel Tebachinary. So if you all enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. See you next time.